This week's Hallmark movie is called The More Love Grows, but is it really even a love story? Let's sift through it together and we'll decide along the way. As you can imagine, I have a lot to say about this one, so let's dive right in and talk about it. The More Love Grows, starring Rachel Boston and Warren Christie, premiered on Hallmark Channel on March 16th. If you're familiar with Hallmark movies, you probably already know Rachel Boston. She's particularly memorable to me because she starred in the very first Hallmark Christmas movie I ever saw, Check Into Christmas. A Christmas Cookie Catastrophe was another fun one, and there's also Christmas in Angel Falls. As you can see, she's made quite a few. And then when I saw Warren Christie, I knew I recognized his face, but I couldn't place him. So I looked him up and saw that he was in Holiday Road last year. That was definitely not your typical Hallmark Christmas movie. And then I saw another one, which I'm actually interested in seeing sometime this year, If I Only Had Christmas. So the premise of this movie, as you may have seen from the previews, is Helen, played by Rachel Boston, is taken by surprise only a couple of weeks away from her 20th wedding anniversary when her husband announces he wants a legal separation.
Helen, I think we should separate.
So there was the hook right away. That's something I happen to look for in these movies if they're going to keep my attention for more than, 30 minutes. Actually, before that even happens, the movie opens up with Helen and her husband at breakfast time with their daughter Allie on the day she goes off to college. Helen's mother also pops in from time to time throughout the movie, and I'll tell you now, I don't think her character added anything to the movie one way or another. There were moments when I liked her when she was helpful and supporting, and moments I didn't really like her when she was pushy and meddling.
I'm an awful mother.
Which is too bad because generally I like the actress who played her, Gabrielle Rose. She played a wonderful character in The Christmas Club. Helen and her husband help Allie settle into her dorm. She's in pre-med and has always done well in school, but right away, and I mean literally right after her parents leave,
Okay, I can finally take this off.
she's swayed by her new roommate to spend more time socializing than studying. It was a few days later, after Helen and her husband were back home, that he broke the news to her that he was offered a promotion and it's based in Denver.
Our 20th anniversary is in 2 weeks. We are not splitting up.
Rather than talk it out with her, he tells her he wants a legal separation, stating they've grown apart. So interestingly, this movie actually had two hooks. How was her daughter's first semester of college going to go?
Got a class at 8 a.m. Can't you get notes from someone?
And then how is Helen going to handle her new single life in an empty house? Clearly there's a lot going on here, so what does happen next? Well, her new story begins with the arrival of a really cute dog that keeps showing up at her house.
You again. Who do you belong to?
She eventually takes him in for the night, but has no idea how to take care of a dog, so she calls Ben, played by Warren Christie. He's someone she just met earlier in the day who happens to be in his 4th year of veterinary school.
Hello?
Hi, this is Helen Stevens.
It turns out the dog has no tags and no chip, so she agrees to keep him while they search for the owner. Ben goes shopping with her to help her get some pet supplies, and they become friends. Another friend she meets through this newfound dog of hers is Cindy. Cindy is divorced herself and even said that divorced was the best thing that ever happened to her because that's when she found music again. I'm not exactly sure why those two things are mutually exclusive of one another, marriage and music, but I digress. And even though Cindy and I are, polar opposites, I did like the way she helped her with the new dog and gave her some confidence to try new things. Something positive to focus on. No matter where you are in life, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The fact that she was open to taking in a dog was a big one. She changed her own oil in the car, and yeah, of course, she dumped it all over herself.
You changed your own oil?
She even bought throw pillows. I know that was a minor thing, but hey, even sometimes little changes like that are hard, especially when life throws you in an unexpected curve and you're forced to start over. Actually, she eventually attempts rock climbing too.
I may not make it to the top, but I'm gonna be very brave, and I'm gonna try.
I mentioned Ben was in veterinary school. He's also divorced with 2 boys, one who just went off to college too. Even he made a choice to start over after 18 years as a sales manager of a software company. I suppose I can relate just in the sense that I've started this new magical movie club this year. It took me a few years to get the courage to do this too. But that's enough about me. Back to the movie. Now, in the end, actually this is interesting where my mind is taking me. Her daughter, Allie, learned that not all change is good. Doing well in college was necessary to keep her pre-med scholarship. And in the very beginning, she let someone influence her the wrong way, and her grades fell dramatically. Her professor gave her a little bit of a dose of reality in telling her she needed to decide to either work really, really hard to get her grades back up or choose an easier course of study.
This isn't high school. There is no extra credit.
Oh, well then, what can I do?
After giving it some thought, she decided against changing her major and realized doing well in school was what she wanted after all. And I was happy to see that a young man was right there to support her in that choice too.
Mom, this is Trevor.
Hi, Allie's mom.
She seemed much happier studying with him than partying with her roommate. I'm not quite sure how I feel about Ben and Helen, only because I think they moved things too quickly. For example, Ben bought her a nice set of colored pencils.
Yeah, I mean, you had mentioned that you wanted to get back into drawing, so.
And I know I'm probably making too much out of this, but that looked like an expensive set in that nice case and all, and she had only been separated for a few weeks. At least that's what it seemed to me. And that's not quite the same as buying her dog some new socks to chew on.
How did you know he likes chewing on socks?
Universal dog trait.
And then I'm guessing this was maybe a few days later, but next he told her he wanted to be more than just friends.
Like to be more.
I don't know, but after being married and raising a daughter for 20 years with her husband together, that seemed too fast to me. Fortunately, I was happy that she recognized that too.
I guess I don't know if that's really what's good for me right now.
I mean, she and her husband hadn't even had their mediation yet. Now, I'm not going to give away what happens in the mediation, but near the end of the movie, as you can see from the movie poster, she changes her mind about being just friends with Ben. I think I would have liked to have seen more time pass before they got to that point. And ultimately, I want to feel something more than just that she changed her mind. I mean, where's the magic in that? Overall, it was okay. When I read some of the reviews on the Hallmark app, I noticed many of them indicated they loved it because it was realistic. I don't know about that. Everybody's experiences are different. But I can say it certainly wasn't a love story. And you know what? That was the problem for me. I turn to Hallmark when I want to see a romantic love story.
The fact is, you have me at sewing kit.
That's why I call this the Magical Movie Club. Maybe I'm naive, but I think real love is a magical feeling, and that's what I look for in a good Hallmark movie. I want to feel some emotion at the end. Okay, I guess sometimes it may not even be about the love story that makes me emotional, like Guiding Emily, for example. I got goosebumps at the end of that movie, and it had nothing to do with the love story.
Emily's not calling because she's right here.
Unfortunately, that just didn't happen for me in this movie. You know what, now that I think about it, this is totally backwards from another movie I saw recently where I loved the story idea, I just couldn't stand the characters or the direction. That review will be out in about a month, but here I actually liked most of the characters and the execution was fine. There were even some things I liked about her new friend Cindy, even though, as I said earlier, I think we're polar opposites in most ways. This time I just didn't care for the story or the way things played out. As of right now, I don't think I would be interested in watching it again. But because I like the characters and the actors who played them, I'll give this one a rating of 2, maybe 2.5 out of 5. I can also tell you, yes, I've had the song Tub Thumping in my head all day now. You're welcome. Well, I think that wraps up my review of The More Love Grows. As always, thank you so much for being a part of the Magical Movie Club. If you like this and want to see more, please subscribe to our channel and consider following us on Instagram at Magical Movie Club and on Twitter at Magical Movie Club. That's club with no U. You can find those links below in the description, as well as links to the preview and the movie page for The More Love Grows at Hallmark.com. We'll see you next week to chat more about our favorite magical movies.